Hi there. So in this series, if it even goes beyond this one video, basically what I'm trying to do is to find the connection between lower level Halo and going into a more competitive mindset as you get into the upper areas of ranked play and whatnot. And I'm just trying to bridge the divide. So I'm going to call this Better Halo from Bad Halo because, frankly, I'm not that good. This match was for Diamond 4. Might help if I actually have myself on here. So, starting off here in Streets, especially if you're, I don't really like to start on C because, frankly, I don't know what to do with my hands. You can either take a left and go into purple, and usually that's what I try to do. Is try to push my way towards purple. As you can see, that's what I'm doing here. You grab the stickies just so you have them in your back pocket. Now, normally at this point, I would actually just nade. Just pre-nade that corner because you know somebody's going to be coming around there and you want to be able to push on that shotgun. Now, keep in mind, if you're coming from the other side, right behind where A is in Strongholds, there's one of those pop-up covers. I'm completely blanking on the name of it right now, but there's one of those over there. So somebody could throw up a pop-up if they stopped by and grabbed it. But basically what I'm trying to say is nade this spot out so you can get to shotgun a little easier. So I back up here. I don't really want to get into a fight. I'm nading that just in case they move forward. And I'm going to get back into a fight, and I just poked my head out just a little bit too long. That's could be fluke of the network. I felt like those were pretty good shots. So at this point, so I see that my team, let me toggle the outlines on. Oop, that's not what I want. Change the outlines. I'm not used to doing this with keyboard. Okay, so yellow outlines are my teammates, blue outlines are the opposite team. So right now, they're fighting in B, so that means, yep, here I am. I'm spawned in B. I think I just adjusted my sensitivity there. So you always want to check, if you spawn B, you always want to check this corner of C and Arc Street. Just because you immediately have an advantage because somebody's going to be looking up at you. You can toss nades down there and they'll dribble around their feet for a while. You'll see that happens to me later on in this match. So I did some pre-firing there just in case that guy decided to poke his head out. And I'm sorry, I know it's kind of here, let me take that off because that's a little obnoxious. So I'm trying to stick with my team at this point. We've got the, wait, do we have the lead? I think we have, this might be messed up. But anyway. So I see my teammates. So right there, how do I pause the... Okay, nope, that's not what I wanted either. This is real professional. Anyway, let me back up just a skosh there. So here we are. So I'm pushing with my team. There's all three of them there. I don't need to push with them because all three of them... there's no need for all three of us to go around purple. So I see my other teammate pushing up towards tires here. So I see him pushing into tires... And so I know that if anybody's coming out this way, I'm going to be able to help them pinch. So you kind of want to keep in the back of your mind where at least one of your teammates are and get a new angle on wherever they're headed. So here, I see that there's two, so I back up immediately. He cleans up one. And right here, that is a really nice little thing. If you hop up on there, let me back it up so you can see it a little bit. That's a little too far. Anyway. If you hop onto the pipes on the left-hand side, you can get into tires without clambering. It's a little bit slower, but you'll have free use of your hands when you do it. So I noticed this guy's here. I did call him out, but I managed to win the gunfight. Right here, I was trying to get up there, drop down, and I messed that jump up. What I was trying to do is stick up there. I see Lucid use that a lot, but I obviously didn't stick it, and I ended up landing in front of two of them. So I have two teammates running towards C, so I know they'll be pushing any enemies out of C out into mid. So I take a look out here, I grab that kill, and so I just saw three of my teammates die. And so what do? I run immediately up into B where the guy with the rockets are. So three of my teammates just died. So what do? I charge off instead of backing up, looking around and trying to see what exactly I need to do. I just charged straight in. And obviously that did not work out terribly well for me. So you want to be cognizant of where your teammates just died. And if you were the last one left, don't be a hero. Just get out of there. So then we have to wait for the long respawn. So here we are. Team set up in PD. So I'm hopping into PD with this other one. I'm going to check Arc Street real quick because I know I have help. And nobody's really here, so I swing into... Yeah, I killed the dead person already. I managed to... So this is a good spot right here where I've got teammates over this way, so I can sneak around this way. Again, like I mentioned before, it's all about getting angles. You don't always want to push in the exact same spot as your teammates. It's about getting angles and getting as many guns pointed at one person as you possibly can. This is, for better or worse, this is a very team shot driven game. And so you always want to be shooting with your teammates whenever possible. And here I knew I couldn't win that battle, so I back out. So I come back out here. I know that's where I made a mistake right here. Instead of like just running out there when I had no shields, I should have backed up into Arc Street, and that would have been a much better play at this point. They might have come around the corner and still got me, but if I had crouched next to planners instead and just kind of waited things out, I probably could have survived. So now that team, now they get a kill and free information on us. My teammate just cleaned that up, so that works out. So now my entire team's in PD, and so we're just kind of waiting it out. We know that they're going to be spawning on the other corner. That is something to note, that if you are, spawns can be, you can really get into the nitty-gritty of spawns, but by and large, if your team is on one side of the map, the enemy team is going to spawn on the other. So you want to be careful of where you push to, because you can do what we call flipping the spawns. So if you push over, like say for instance in strongholds, if you see that C is completely open and you just run across the map by yourself, you're going to influence the spawns. So your team is going to have a weak side. So you have 3 teammates on one side, just you on the other, and the other team is going to spawn around you. And so you want to be very careful about pushing out by yourself and be very cognizant of where the enemy team is going to spawn. But basic rule of thumb, if your team is on one side of the map, the other team's going to be spawning on the other side. So anyway, so I see I have a teammate here, so I can push up a little bit into Arc. I don't want to push too much because we do have numbers advantage. I don't want to be in a bad position, but there was a nade right there, and I completely missed it. I saw it as I was running over it, so I should have been a little bit more cautious right there. So this, I didn't see it. I was going to try to do a drop slide there, but I saw that I had a teammate there, and he was already fighting someone, so I decided to help him. I didn't want to jump right back up into Purple Street right away, because you don't want to jump from Sneaky into Purple Street with no shields. There's just too many spots where you can get hit from either subway or cafe. So I tried to nade out tires whenever I know that there's a potential for enemies to be there. Maybe that's not a good plan, but I just like to. The whole goal. Let me pause again. The whole goal of grenades isn't really to kill people. What you want your grenades to do is to manipulate your opponent's movements, because probably 6 or 7 times out of 10 your opponent's going to see a grenade, say, oh no, a grenade, and not go over there. But what you've done is made it so they can't go over there. So in fighting games, they have the concept of zoning, where you just throw a bunch of projectiles into a certain spot to keep your opponent from, you kind of force them into going where you want them to go. So say if I'm in this position right here, I have somebody coming up Arc Street, I don't want them to go into the bar here, into the arcade, so I could throw a nade into there. The opponent sees that and says, I don't want to go there, so they stay out in the street where it's way more open, or they go into the red room up here on the corner where they can be naded out, or they can just be pinched really easily. So just keep that in mind, that your grenades aren't necessarily there for killing. It's to make your opponent move where you want them to move. So let's continue. So again, you always want, if you're on Arc Street, you always want, if you have the space and the time, you always want to check this corner to see if you can catch somebody. So you can see somebody's starting to spawn right here. So because if your team's over on Arc Street, and at least one of the enemy's team is dead, you're going to find at least one of them is going to be spawning over here. So you want to check this corner just to see if you can catch somebody coming up. I can't remember if I actually do that here or not. Nope. I noticed somebody coming up B Street, and I get distracted. And now you'll notice, okay, where I am right now, I am completely, I've got, I didn't really realize it at the time, but I've got 2 teammates dead. And the other one is sitting either in garbage, the garbage cans, or in C, and I've got an enemy coming this way. So I'm completely by myself. And like I mentioned before, you don't really want to be by yourself in this game. It's not a good plan. So I'm going to get hit right here, and so I have to run away, and somebody's going to clean me up from Plaza because I left myself wide open. And let's see where I spawn. So I spawn in PD. And so I see everybody's fighting over, and this is usually fairly safe, because you can just pop in and out of PD if you're shooting into Cafe. So this area right here, I know I said I was going to keep it simple, but I guess and keep it to the basics, but I guess I'm assuming that you have a mostly basic idea. So this is Cafe over here. This is the call out, generally speaking. And so usually if your teammates are fighting, if your teammates are over here in A, it's usually fairly safe if you spawn in PD to kind of pop out and take a few shots at somebody in Cafe. Just don't move too close to the wall because you won't be able to get back into PD in time. So you want to like poke in and out of PD if you're shooting into Cafe like this. So I get naded. Yep. I check Arc Street, move back into. Usually, it's a good idea to move into PD, one way or the other. Just it's a good spot to get your shields back and not get shot. So I'm getting shot from behind. I managed to get behind this guy, and not really doing much here. Moving through PD, check Arc Street. And again, I'm trying to move with my teammate here. And so here, I probably should have had that kill right there. That's just bad. But what I did right there is back up because I knew you don't need to chase. If you've got somebody absolute, don't chase them. Just let them be. So I'm trying to come over here to check beat the top of B stairs. I get shot here. See my teammate shooting at that guy. And again, you want to check that corner of Arc Street because they're always at a disadvantage. So I'm pushing up with my teammates. I'm trying to help my guy here over at top B. See this guy coming out of it. Just if you see somebody, put shots in them. Unless you're trying to sneak up on somebody, just put shots into everything. That's actually brings me to another point. When I was talking earlier about using grenades for just zoning and making them move where you want them to. If you put shots on somebody, they're at a disadvantage. They can't move where they want to. They have to think, oh, I need to stay safe, and I can't move to certain places because my shields are low. You put a couple shots into somebody, you decrease their movement capability. They're not going to be able to move where they want to, and so you can't completely control that situation, but you can at least make them have to think harder about where they're going to go. It restricts their map movement. So if you see someone, shoot someone unless you're like sneaking right up behind someone, which honestly I don't recommend sneaking up behind someone because the networking in this game is so wonk, you're probably going to whiff the melee anyway. Continuing on. Get a few shots on this guy here. And so I've got a couple guys moving in here. Get the heck out of dodge here. I don't have any nades, so I can't really do nades. But so my teammate just hopped back with low shields. So that guy is probably expecting somebody to have low shields, so that's why I popped out there. I ended up getting popped from behind. I don't even know where that guy came from. So I'm spawning C. And again, you have to be very careful about where you come out of C, as you're going to see. So even with 3 teammates here, I can't really, like, we're all at a disadvantage. I have to back up, and you're going to watch this nade fly right in there, dribble down the street, and get me. So that's why you always check the corner of Arc Street and C. And here the enemy's starting to make a little bit of a comeback, and I'm starting to get nervous. I don't want to die. So again, especially with a game this close, I don't want to engage in that fight. I want to get out of there. I made the bad decision. I knew it as soon as I saw it. I made the bad decision of trying to jump into sneaky and with low shields, and somebody over on either side can pop you real easy. So again, I poke my head into that window, which is a bad idea. So working my way, usually I try to make sure those two corners are covered. And here I stayed just a touch too long. People are very exposed on that PD balcony. So you usually want to get a few shots on them and then back up because they still have the height advantage, but you don't want to hang around. You want to let your teammates take care of that. And when in doubt, nade out tires. There's probably somebody in there. If your teammates aren't in there, somebody's going to be in there. When in doubt, nade it out. And lose the gunfight there. There's pretty garbage BR. Can't even get the guy cleaned up. So here we are, 46-46. So at this point, I know I really want to stay with my teammates. I don't want to be caught out in the open. And what do? Get caught in the open because I wanted to do a drop slide and look fancy. By the way, if you don't know how to do a drop slide, I highly recommend Shyway's videos on it. Very, very good. So when you spawn in in this upper subway area, you have a good vantage point. You want to make sure you check all your angles before you head out. So everything's super close right now. A nade out tires, and then this guy completely whiffs what probably could have been an easy back smack. We clean him up, and that's the game. So I hope you find this, and victory teabagging, of course. I hope you found this useful. This has actually been a lot of fun for me to make. Again, I'm not the best and greatest Halo player. But if you love Halo and you're just like, I wonder if there's a little bit more I can squeeze out of this than just running around in Team Slayer with my friends. If you want to learn the game, I encourage you to kind of stick with me and go through this with me. All right? You have a good day.